Okay, you've got Android Studio up and running, awesome work. Now you're going to participate in an important programming tradition, making a Hello World app. This is basically the first step towards becoming an Android developer. And at the end of the lesson, you're going to take this Hello World app and you're going to change it into the birthday card app. So you might be wondering, what exactly is a Hello World program? Well, typically in programming languages, one of the easiest things you could do is print out some words to the screen. So therefore, usually the first program that you'll make in a programming language is a program that'll do exactly that, print some words out to the screen. It's kind of like when you're studying a new human language, how you'll learn words like thank you, or please, or excuse me, where's the bathroom, as sort of your first building blocks of that language. Okay, let's build the Hello World app. A quick note before we get started. This video was recorded April 6, 2015. Now my suggestion to you is that you don't follow along with the video. Instead, go ahead and watch the video through once. After you're done with that, we've provided some text instructions in the instructor notes. From time to time, Android Studio is updated, which means that menus or screens can look a little bit different. And while the video might be out of date, the text instructions will be updated a lot more regularly. Okay, so if you've closed Android Studio, go ahead and reopen Android Studio. You should be staring at this screen. I'm going to go ahead and click on this aptly named Start a New Android Studio Project button. Alright, that should take you to this screen where we have a couple of different options. The first one is the application name. This is the name that you'll see in the app bar at the top of the app, as well as the all apps screen of the device. Preemptively, I'm going to go ahead and name this Happy Birthday. Okay, right below this we have company domain. And if this looks similar to a web address, you're right. Normally, if you owned a web address, you'd type it in here. Now at one point in my life, I owned lilafujiwara.com. So, if I was making an app for myself, instead of a demo app for all of you, I would go ahead and change this to lilafujiwara.com. Now you might be wondering why. Well, if I was planning to distribute my app on Google Play, this package name down here is something that I need to uniquely identify my app. Meaning that across all of the people in the world who are making apps, this needs to be completely unique. Now, if we look a little bit more at the structure of this, the package name is actually the company domain reversed. So instead of lilafujiwara.com, we have com.lilafujiwara, followed by the application name with no spaces. So while there might be a couple of different app developers that make a happy birthday app, you're not going to have a bunch of app developers that all own lilafujiwara.com and are making a birthday card app. And in the way that the internet is set up, if I buy lilafujiwara.com, that means I should have complete control over what is shown there, and nobody else can buy that domain name. And if I own it and it's specific to me, then that helps ensure that this package name is completely unique. So I know that you only know about package names right now. You might not know what a package is. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. But the thing that you just need to keep in mind right now is that a package name needs to be unique so that Google Play and your phone has a unique way to identify your application. Okay, but you're not me and you don't own this domain, and since we're all practicing together and I want us all to have sort of the same setup for this app, I'm going to change this to android.example.com. And you should go ahead and use the same company domain name, because I know that some of you won't actually own website domains yourself. Also, it'll help you match our code. And if you look below, you should see that it says com.example.android. Again, that's the reverse of Android example com, and that it says happy birthday after it. Okay, so the next thing that you can change is the project location. This is where all the files that have to deal with your app will be saved on your computer. Now usually Android Studio will create a folder for your Android Studio projects, and the default is to just put your app inside this folder. And you can see that the name actually matches the name of the folder that it will be in. This is a pretty good default location, so unless you have any strong reason to change it, I'd go ahead and just click Next. Okay, now this is a fun screen. It lets us pick what phones and devices that we're going to actually make our application for. Now you're making an app for a phone and a tablet, and you're not trying to make an app for TV, Wear, or Glass, so we're going to leave these all unchecked. The drop-down right here shows us the version of the Android operating system that our application will support. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up. We can see that the first public and widely used release of Android was called Cupcake. With this release, Google started a convention where they would continue to go alphabetically, but name each operating system off of desserts or sugary treats. Cupcake was followed by Donut and Eclair, and this is why you'll see words like ice cream sandwich, honeycomb, and Kit Kat in the drop-down menu. Now below this dropdown, you'll see this handy Help Me Choose link. This graph shows some helpful percentages of how many people who have Android phones use the different operating system versions. Looking at it, we can see that most users, at least at the time of this recording, are using the deliciously named KitKat. The percentages show the percentage of people in the world using Google Play who will be able to use our app if we pick one of these as our minimum supported version. So if you pick the newest version of the operating system, which is Lollipop, at least at the time of this recording, only users with new phones would be able to download your app. And that would mean you would only have about 0.1% of all of the phone users actually able to download your app. So you might be asking, why not make an app for all phones by picking the oldest version of the operating system? Here's a picture of the first commercially available Android phone, the T-Mobile G1, which was also known outside the United States as the HTC Dream. It was released in 2008 and ran Android 1.0. Obviously, a lot has changed since then. For example, apps like Google Wallet, which let you pay for groceries with the wave of your smartphone, require near-field communication. And near-field communication, or NFC, was actually a type of hardware that didn't make it into Android phones until 2010. So if you're making an app that requires NFC, there's no reason to even try supporting older phones like this that are running older versions of the Android operating system. Anyway, for the purposes of your app, I want you to use API 15, which is Ice Cream Sandwich. This should work for about 90% of the phone users out there. Alright, go ahead and click Next. I want to interrupt here for an important update. Since filming the original video, the activity templates have actually been updated and changed. So your screens are going to look a little bit different than what you're seeing in the video right now. If you're using Android Studio version 1.4 or newer, you're going to see these screens instead. And instead of selecting blank activity, what I want you to do is select the empty activity template. This will generate the correct files that will allow you to follow along with the rest of the course. On this screen, you're given a bunch of starting templates you can choose from, depending on what you're trying to make. You're going to go ahead and choose blank activity, which is already selected because it's the simplest one. And I'm going to click Next. Finally, this screen gives you the opportunity to name a couple of different files that are going to be automatically generated for your application. As you'll soon see, an application is composed of all the picture files, sound files, XML files, Java files, and more that are required to make the app. Basically, there are a lot of files that work together to make your application. We'll talk about this all soon. For now, take a look at the layout name. You've been working on XML layout files, so this is the name of the file we'll be editing in just a little bit. I'm actually not going to change any of these defaults, so you can go ahead and click Finish. Now, depending on your computer speed, it might take a moment to set everything up. If you look down here, you'll actually see a little loading circle as well as a loading bar. And we can see a loading circle down here as well, meaning that it's continuing to think about things. So take a break, go ahead, stretch, and get some tea. Coffee.